Hi everyone. In this Quick Start series, I'd like to show you how to set up your Hyena Cart store as quickly as possible so you can concentrate on making and selling your items. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a basic listing. There are a lot of different parameters that can be chosen for a listing, but we're just going to cover the basics today. Okay, so we're starting from the home page of the vendor pages again. And again, there are lots of links here. Today, what we're going to focus on is the Add Listing link, which you can get to here from this menu, or up at Product Listings, you can say Add Item. So we're just going to go ahead and start adding items. Let's start here. The first thing you're going to want to do is choose a category for your item, and this is at the site level. So at the overall Hyena Cart level, your items will show up when users are browsing these categories. So I'm going to put mine in hand knit and crocheted items, and I am going to list a soaker. Right now, the store categories are blank because we haven't created any store categories, but we'll get to that in another video. So the product name, you want to make this descriptive of what it is. So I'm going to say this is a hand knit soaker in shades of blue, size medium. We're going to leave stock type at standard for now. That's something we'll cover in another video, what these different stock types are. The go live date is when the item will show up in your store. Typically it's set for a time that was maybe right now it's just a few hours ago. And that means that the item would show up in the store as soon as I'm done listing it. That's what I want, so I'm going to leave that there, but you could set that for sometime in the future if you'd like this to stock later for you. End date is usually only really applicable for things like auctions. For most of our listings, we don't need an end date, so you can just check the no end date box. That way, this listing will stay live from now until it sells. If you do find that sometimes your listings are disappearing out of your store, this is one thing to check. Did you forget to check no end date and this date passed and things disappeared out of your store? For the order field, we'll leave that blank for now, but that is something that we can use when we have lots of listings in our store. And if we want for them to show up in a certain order, this number can help you determine what order the listings show up in. Now for the description, I actually went ahead and typed something up really quick for my description so you didn't have to see me type all of this. You want your description to be specific. You want it to name what the item is, have a little bit of, some details for here. For example, here I've got what type of yarn I used, what kinds of shades of blue it is, some of the sizing information, some measurements, and a little bit of a description of what soakers are and why they're wonderful. So you want to do that on every single one of your listings, have this level of detail. It'll help your buyers decide whether they want to make this purchase or not. For tags, you can put as many tags as you like. I'm just going to put a couple in, but you can enter whatever you like here. And what these are for is if someone enters any of these words into the search bar and those words didn't already show up in your title or your description, that will bring up your listing under these keywords as well. And you'll notice your store name is already filled in ahead of time in case somebody just wants to see everything that's listed in your store. They can do that from the Hyena Cart search bar. So then we can put in a price. We can put how many of these items we have in stock. And then we can choose our images. Okay, so I'm going to click here and choose the image for my product. I'm going to choose this blue one. So that's going to be the thumbnail. That's what's going to show up in my store when people are browsing. And then you can also add product photos here. So I've got this one, and typically you would want to have a couple other views, but I don't have any other views of this particular product. So I'll leave that there. And then we've got this choices section. This section may or may not be relevant to you. In my case, this is an item that's already made, so there aren't any choices that I'm going to offer. We'll cover choices in more depth in another section. So for now, we're going to skip all of that. So this is a very basic listing where you have a pre-made item and there aren't any choices to be made. For shipping, all of these are grayed out at first. I'm going to want to offer first class shipping, and the way that you enter the shipping prices is, say it's $3 if somebody buys this item on its own, And as an add-on item, it's $1.50. So that means if they just buy this, they'll pay $3 in shipping. If they buy this plus another item, the additional shipping from this item will be $1.50. And then I can also do priority shipping, so call that $6.85 and something like $2. This is not an exact science, as you can see. You'll have to experiment with the numbers a little bit to see what works out for your products. This will leave blank. This is specifically for pattern downloads. All right, so we say add product. And as you can see, it comes up here. This is our vendor view. And if we go to our store, we can see that it now shows up in the store. And if we click on it, the shopper can add it to the cart and make their purchase. It has the description here. Okay, so that's a basic listing. Now, what if you have another very similar item? You could either start over. The other thing you could do is just copy the listing. So I can hit this copy button. And what it does is it takes me back to this page again, and most of the information is already filled in. So this category, I can choose the subcategory again. I can change this title now. And I already had that typed in. And then I can change the description. So you could either change the description here in the text, or I have it typed out again so you don't have to watch me type all of this information in. And that is something you want to consider. You can compose your description in this box. What I find is it's actually nicer to have it in a Word document or a notepad so that you can save it and copy and paste it like I just did really easily. Also, if you have any issues with connectivity and you spent a lot of time in the description and you find that you get logged out by mistake or your computer crashes, you'll lose this description if it hasn't saved to the server. So you might want to have it on your computer somewhere. All right, these tags are already filled in. It's a bigger size, so I'm going to charge a little bit more for it. And then we can change the image. So let's change the image to this one. We'll again skip the choices section. All the shipping's already filled in because we copied the listing, and then we say modify product. And there we go. So now if we go to the store and we go to the main page, we can see that there are 2 listings. So you can just do that for each one of your listings and get them going. You'll want to have, like I said, really nice descriptive titles, good details in your description, and then go for the best photos that you can take. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but you want it to be in focus and you want it to be well lit. Cloudy days are great, and outdoor settings are really good too. All right, so that is it for now. I will cover some of the other sections in more depth in other videos, but that should get you started to be able to do a very basic listing. Thanks again for hosting your store on Hyena Cart, and I hope you found this video helpful.